had been drawn. At night, jackals came to the edge of the village and howled, and the village dogs howled back. The village square had a cafe run by a local couple, BlackVue and Minka. Minka put your order on the table with a blunt, fatalistic enjoy. Her face seemed carved from the hills, young yet old. BlackVue sat smoking all day. In his childhood, which was also my childhood, the villagers were regularly called to the square whenever the border army caught fugitives trying to cross into Turkey. That is, the West. We had to watch how they beat them instead. I can still see them as if yesterday. Young, handcuffed, sometimes bloodied. East Germans, Czechoslovaks, Poles. Defectors are the enemy, our soldiers said, and we believed them. Minka had witnessed the fall of her pretty village. There were two reasons for it: the Iron Curtain and the fall of the Iron Curtain. Minka's family had always been in the village. Like everybody in the days of the Cold War, they weren't allowed to live elsewhere. But if you lived here, you needed a special stamp from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, because this was the border zone. Indentured, branded, that was us. Still, it was better in the days, because there were people. In the brutal freefall of post-communism, the free market bulldozed the elderly structures of the planned economy. The border army got on the left. Infrastructures crumbled. Wilderness closed over the land. From 2,000 souls, 200 were left. Discarded in a garden, I found an old hand-painted sign. Long live the International Union of the Working Classes, of all the progressive forces united in the struggle against imperialism, for peace, democracy, and socialism. A utopia that has gone wrong deserves reflection. And here, on the border, it had gone even more wrong than elsewhere, which is why the locals lived with something usually experienced only in war: collective heartbreak. There were no champagne socialists in the village of the valley, no anti-globalists, no anti-communists, no anti-capitalists, just survivors. The women were old, the men were lonely, and the children were gone. "I'm in charge of a dying village," the mayor said to me. "All I can do is make people's lives as good as possible, which isn't difficult. They're happy with so little." He loved his village so much that he had built a playground for the absent children. Refugees were still coming down the hills from Turkey, even though a shiny new fence had just been built in the place where the Iron Curtain had stood. The Iron Curtain had long been sold as scrap by locals, the scrap heap of history, where all fences end up, sooner or later. Sitting at the cafe with Minka and BlackVue, the silence of the mountain crept in. What is 30 years to the border mountain? Here, in the space between yesterday and tomorrow, we were all just passing through, on our way elsewhere.
Was the author Katka Sabova writing about her native Bulgaria? A lot to reflect on in that essay. I'd love to hear the thoughts from my two guests. Alan Posner, there's been a theme, I think, throughout this program. It was first raised by our Berlin correspondent, Damien McGuinness, when he was speaking about the events to mark 30 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall. It's sort of a bittersweet mood, really, not just reflecting on what was gained when the wall went down, but also what was lost. That seems to have been echoed again in this essay we just heard.
Yeah, beautifully written, and it, obviously very true. I've been all over the Balkans, and
Europe, she's the toughest because elsewhere there has been essentially no regulation. I would note one of her key decisions is overturned by courts, so even within the EU context, her power is less than many people think, and I would note that after most of these settlements and awards, the stock price increases.
David Williams. Ireland has also got a data protection commissioner who's effectively the data protection commissioner for the whole of Europe. She's in charge of the likes of Facebook and Google and so on because they're based here.
We have a dog in this particular route.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Parking mode off.
I think the interesting thing, this lady, I was reading a profile of her. She's the daughter of a nuclear minister. She was very, very moral, fairness, and she seems to, like many domestic politicians, she was the leader of a small party in Denmark, and then went to the European Commission. She's got to make a big personal statement for her own career in the Commission, and who knows what she might do when she goes back to Denmark. So there's a nice, interesting personal story here. The other issue, I think, that she is absolutely right about is privacy. And again, I was just really intrigued by being in Germany last week. It's very, very difficult to get anything for anything in this credit card. It is an incredibly cash-rich society. And I asked German friends, why the hell is this? And they said, because most of the credit cards do not really work. So basically, privacy is separate. Basically, you want anything more.
That's where Google Street and the rest of the
Precisely. So
there's also an interesting perspective from the Irish point of view because on the one hand there's support for what let's say I might want to do in terms of regulating. On the other hand, well I was going to say I was being kind there.
Ireland is the country that was offered 13 billion instead of Irish.
Yeah.
Right? So
Remind people about that.
So this is a tax that the Commission slapped on Apple for tax avoidance, not evasion but avoidance. And
Because Ireland decided we're not going to tax it.
we decided we don't need 13 billion. Geez, what would you do with it? I couldn't think back. We've done a house crisis, we've been a rate of state tax. So we don't want 13 billion, you can have it back. And so it's in
即係你明我意思咧？有人 back up 或者你有多咁嘅識揸車，咁有咩事你都可以即係揾到人幫手求助咁樣。係啊，咁佢一齊真係好大。
係咯，咁你應該都係住喺個最大城市 European 啦，
係啦係啦，
喺嗰度做 base 啦，因為佢就係主要嘅碼頭喺嗰度啦，機場都喺嗰度啦。咁但係相對上咧，佢成個感覺咧就冇其他小島咁樣嘅，即係佢係。又唔係大城市，但係係中型城市啲啦。開始啲街比較筆直啲啦，同埋佢冇咁多小屋㗎，佢係多啲4、5層高。